Hello, you lovely internet people. Last Wednesday was the release of the beautiful, beautiful card, the RX 480 from AMD. You saw the reviews, you saw the benchmarks. Bottom line is the cost to VR entry has never been cheaper, but it's still expensive. It's still $1,400 about, let's say you have an $800 rig plus the headset, Oculus Rift, which is $600, so still $1,400 to entry about, and versus $800 to entry if you go with PSVR plus a PS4. Let's say $900 because you're gonna get all the accessories as well. So PC has $1,400 and $1,600 respectively, minimum, and console has $900 minimum. No wait, $800 minimum, $900 at most. So cost of VR still expensive, but that's not the point. The RX 480 makes 1080 60 way easier to do. Well, greater than 1080 60 possibly. So you could do 1080 at higher frame rates now with a little bitty $200 card. You could do 1440 if you just bump down the settings a little lower. You could do 1440p at 60 now. So that is fantastic at $200. But I can't help but wonder how long it can stay the value king. Because although now it looks quite amazing, but however, one has to note that the RX 480 is only competing with the last generation of graphics cards. So it's competing with itself in that the 380, it has to be the successor to the R9 380, and it was, for sure, without a doubt. It did like over 50% more in performance, and it's still a bit under the 390, but it's just about as much as the 390, just about as much as the 970. So it does pretty well in that regard, and it still can't beat out the 980, and still doesn't beat out 390X, and doesn't beat out the Fiji cards, obviously. So this is a mid-range card that topples over the cards that used to be in the $300 range. But those cards are now cheaper now, and they're cheap to the point where the value is kind of minuscule in that respect. Not to mention, again, it's a last generation GPUs. So what's gonna happen when Nvidia unveils their 1060 graphics card? Is the RX 480 going to stay the value king? Is the RX 480 already going to sweep up the mid-range, the mainstream market before the 1060 can come out? So then everybody's already got RX 480s, so they don't want to get 1060 because they've already invested in the RX 480. But I can't help but wonder if the Nvidia fanboys may outweigh that. Like everybody that thinks Nvidia is the best, so they're thinking, oh, AMD never makes anything good, so we'll just get whatever Nvidia brings, which would be the 1060. And the 1060, a lot of people will buy because of fanboyism and they want to stay in the Nvidia ecosystem. But if people are thinking of performance only, I can't help but wonder if the 1060 will unveil and have better performance than the RX 480, better overclocking than the RX 480, based on how the Pascal architecture has been doing with overclocking. I'm very scared about that. Not everyone overclocks though. It could have better efficiency because the RX 480 was doing about as well as a 1070, which is a scary thought because the 1070 is way up there compared to the RX 480. So that leads me to believe that the 1060 could have better efficiency if you care that much about it. But the one last thing is price. That's the main thing that's going to matter when the 1060 comes out. If the pricing is about the same, or maybe just $10 more, let's say it comes out at $250, then possibly, that 1060 could take over the value market for price to performance ratio. I'm very scared for AMD. I don't know how long they can stay in this position, because right now they have no competition in that mainstream market except for the last gen, and they've already proved that they're beating out the last gen. Any person that's buying a graphics card today in that price range should go out and just get an RX 480. But for how long? When is that 1060 gonna come out? When is Nvidia going to either topple AMD or actually miss the mark? Are they going to miss the mark at all? Are they going to be too little too late? Well, not too little. Is it too little? No, it might not be too little, but they might be too late. Everybody might already buy their RX 480s, so they don't invest in the 1060. So we'll just have to see how it turns out. We'll just have to see. I don't know. And then the 1050 comes out. And if the 1050, I swear, if the 1050, if it even exists, is the same performance as an RX 480 for a lower price, I would be so upset if I got an RX 480. But we've heard nothing from Nvidia. There are leaks that the 1060 would be 6 gigs of VRAM, which is less than the 8 gigs, but that also means potential to have a lower price in between the two RX 480s. If it is 6 gigs of VRAM, who's to say they won't make it cost $220? Let's say it costs $220 and it has better performance, better thermals, better everything than the RX 480 4 gig model. Then why wouldn't you pay the extra $20 for extra VRAM and extra performance and all that crap? I certainly would. So I'm just waiting to see what Nvidia unveils, to see what I'm going to invest in at that $200 range. So I hope you all enjoyed my speculations and stuff. Like if you like, and dislike if you dislike. Leave a comment letting me know why you like or dislike respectively. And above all, hold up, don't forget to subscribe for more content, maybe like this, maybe not like this. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye. That was like bad.